Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. In each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we are continuing our series on the X-Men movies as we take a look at X2, starring Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. And if you are enjoying these videos, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new episode. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we're covering X2. This movie was released on April 24th, 2003. It was directed by Bryan Singer. The screenplay was done by Michael Dougherty, Dan Harris, and David Hayter. The production companies were 20th Century Fox, Bad Hat Harry Production, Marvel Enterprises, and the Donner Company. And it was distributed by 20th Century Fox. The budget was $125 million with a box office return of $407.7 million. But let's take a look at the pre-production. So after the success of the first X-Men movie, Fox immediately put a sequel into production. Bryan Singer started in November of 2000 putting together potential storylines for an X-Men sequel. Singer said he wanted to explore the human perspective and wanted to look at the human villain. They were also influenced by Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, where the characters would be separated and then revelations would occur that are significant. Producer Avi Arad would announce the November 2002 release date, and David Hayter and Zach Penn were hired to write the screenplay. They would eventually write separate scripts, but they would come together to combine the best parts of their separate scripts into one superscript. Singer and Hayter would write another script finishing in October of 2001. But then Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris were hired to rewrite that script in February of 2002. Yet another rewrite was commissioned to give Halle Berry more screen time after she had won her best Oscar for Best Actress in Monsters Ball. Filming began in March of 2002 in Vancouver and would last until November. 64 different sets were created in 38 different locations. The crew did, however, experience problems in Kananaskis Park near Calgary, Alberta, as there was not enough snow, so they had to bring in their fake snow. Famke Janssen was actually kept in the secret about the ending until midway through production in order to keep it a secret. And John Ottoman composed the score and developed new themes for Magneto, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, and Mystique and Pyro. Initially, the final cut of this movie was rated R, and some of the scenes with Logan and Stryker in the mansion were scaled back in order to get that PG-13 rating. So in terms of the cast, we have Patrick Stewart playing Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, Ian McKellen playing Magneto, Halle Berry playing Storm, Famke Janssen playing Jean Grey, Rebecca Romijn Stamos as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Brian Cox as Stryker, and Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. In terms of the plot, several months have passed since the X-Men defeated Magneto and imprisoned him in a seemingly impregnable plastic cell. One day, a mutant by the name of Nightcrawler infiltrates the White House and attempts to assassinate the president, setting off a chain reaction of anti-mutant measures by the government. Meanwhile, Logan is trying to discover the past, and a scientist named William Stryker discovers that Professor X's secret school and Cerebro and Magneto's partner Mystique is planning her own breakout of Magneto. But when Professor X's school is attacked by Stryker's forces, Logan, Rogue, Iceman, and a few are lucky to escape. Those who remain meet in Boston, where they form an uneasy alliance with Magneto to stop Stryker and rescue Professor X. So a little bit of trivia and legacy with this one. X-Men characters Beast, Angel, Gambit, and Colossus were actually written into the script, but were all cut for time. The movie would premiere in London and at the time had the widest release of cinematic history in 93 different markets. A video game would be released to help promote the film, and this one was titled X2 Wolverine's Revenge, and it would be released for PlayStation 2, GameCube, Microsoft Windows, and Game Boy Advance. There was yet a second game as well released called X-Men: The Official Game, and this was released in May of 2006. And this one would tell the story that would bridge the gap between X2 and X-Men: The Last Stand. So would I recommend this movie? I think this movie really steps up from the first movie. The action sequences are a lot better special effects, and the story seems to raise those stakes from the first one. I really like the performances from Hugh Jackman and Famke Janssen. I think they're phenomenal, and they both stand out really well. I also like how this is a complete movie on its own, but there is a lot of setup for the third X-Men movie. Normally with these trilogy type things, the second movie is entirely all set up, but this one has a complete story all on its own. So overall, definitely recommend this movie, as I think it is one of the better comic book movies, and this one was before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so definitely kind of one of the rare ones. So thank you so much for joining us here on Disney Movie Investigation. I would love for anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of X2. Did they like it? Did they not like it? I would love to hear people's feedback. And so as we look forward to our next episode, we are going to deliver an early Christmas present as we take a look at Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And stay tuned for our bonus story of that episode as we take a look at the Disneyland Paris Hotel New York facility. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.